Hi, this is Craig with the Everyday Makers. Do you ever have a problem where something like this happens to you?
Can you pass me the hot sauce?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
If you do, we have a project for you today. We're going to make a little table caddy. Just kind of organize stuff on the table, make it a little easier, keep it all in one spot. And it makes it real nice when you got to like clean around it and stuff. You can just slide everything over in one shot. So let's make that. Okay. Make a nice little easy project today. Nothing too complex about it. Just a nice little table addition. So we're starting out cutting the base. This piece is going to be, for my use case scenario, about 8 inches by about 5 inches. I like to start with a nice fresh end. The board should be fine, but it's always good to slice off a 1/16 of an inch or something just to make sure you got a fresh end and you know it's square. Then I'm doing my measurements here. Like I said, it should be about 8 by 5, give or take, somewhere around there. So that's just my use case scenario. You can make this as big or as small as you want. Mine's gonna have 6 slots in it to fit various sauces and things like that, and pepper and stuff. You can make it 2 slots, 4 slots, 30 slots, whatever makes you happy. So we're gonna cut this off. Nice smooth cuts. Try and keep the tear out as minimal as possible. Now we're going to work on the sides. We need 3 total pieces for these sides. Once again, I'm going to start off with a fresh cut on the end. This is straight from the store boards. The ends tend to be a little bit rough. And now we're going to go equal length to the main bottom piece. Nice smooth cuts. Okay, and like I said, we're basically just going to triple that piece. Got them already cut, good to go. Now I'm going to go through one more cut here. This is just to make sure all my boards are perfectly the same length. They're real close, but shaving off the edge of it doesn't hurt anything, and it gives you better final results without having to really mess with it too much. So this is just basically letting the blade kind of kiss the edge and make them all lined up. If I can get my fingers to work properly. There we go. All lined up perfect. Now we're going to move over to the other table. The table saw. From here, we're basically just going to cut a couple of rabbits. I'm going to set my blade thickness to be essentially the height of the thickness of the side pieces. And that'll tell me where I need to be. I'm going to go a little bit less than that, actually, because they're going to sit in the rabbit. So, I tend to go a little bit over half if I can. The thickness works out pretty well. We're going to start right up against the blade. Simple shave. Lots of little paper-sized piece in the edge that didn't quite cut. Other side of the board, same thing. Adjust a little bit, shave it again, and that pretty much gives us our rabbit, because I'm using 1/4-inch boards. It's an 1/8 inch blade, so essentially 2 cuts gives you what you need. Make a little bit of room there just to give it a little bit of shave. Test fits are everything. Just test fit it, kind of fine tune it to where you need it to be. Okay, now we're going to go for the middle cut. The middle cut is just about in half. You want to go just shy of half and just over half. That'll get you where you need to be. The kind of secret to making sure it's centered, turn the board, don't move the blade. So you turn the board to the other side, give it a 180, and it'll be centered. Your two cuts will be centered. And then just shave that little piece of paper out of the middle, good to go. 3 rabbits done. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and assemble this. But first, sanding. Lots and lots and lots of sanding. All I'm doing really is just kind of breaking the edges on 3 of the 4 sides. I'm not doing the bottom side. I'm trying to leave it as square as possible because it's going to go into the wrap and the dado. So now I got just kind of the edges broken on that, made it a little more pleasant to work with. Now we're going to drill some holes. We're going to need 3 holes in each of the vertical sides. It's the best way to do this is going to be to stack them up, shoot 3 holes through so they all match. I'm going to use 1/4 inch dowels, so I'm using a 1/4 inch bit. And so we'll get them all stacked up here. Now comes the fun part of figuring out where I want to put them. Since this is kind of on the fly, there's a little bit more figuring out that I wanted to do immediately. Probably could have saved myself a whole lot of time and actually done the math on it, but this worked out pretty well too. It just takes a minute. I'm trying to figure out basically where 4 dowels go to make 3 individual slots. Bring out the middle of where I want my slots, then adjusting the dowels accordingly. I'd actually mismeasured on this. I meant to make 3 equally sized slots, and what I end up with is the 2 outside slots are a little bit longer than the inside slot, which worked fine for what I had to put in it, so that actually worked out in my favor, but it wasn't the original hope and design. So right now I'm figuring out where to put my dowels and drawing a straight line across so they're all on the same plane. Extending those lines up to give me a little cross where I need to make each drill hole. Double checking my work. Doing a little bit of remeasuring, so I gotta move some stuff around. Didn't quite look right to me, so I'm adjusting. And now drilling. Like I said, we're drilling all 3 at the same time. They shifted a little bit on me, but not too terrible. And I would say I could use a sharper bit, but this is a brand new bit set. So they went through pretty well though. So I got my holes drilled. Looking pretty good. Get my little sacrificial block out of the way there. Clean up my surface. And then we're going to see how it all lines up. But one thing I'm actually going to do is I'm on the middle piece. I have to clean it up a little bit more. Middle piece, I'm actually going to open up the holes a little bit. Yes, I'm checking my work here. real exciting television. It was worth a close look, so sorry it's out of the camera. Still looking, still figuring things out. Okay, now I'm just gonna give a real rough cut to a couple dowels. They're 1 foot dowels, and I only need like 5.5 inches, so cutting them roughly in half will be perfect. And this is poplar all the way around, poplar dowels, poplar base and sides. Just kind of test fit to see how it goes in. And now here comes the part. I'm going to widen out that middle board a little bit. The front and back boards aren't nearly as hard to get through with control as the middle board. The middle board is way harder to hold on to and keep steady, so I'm going to float it just a little bit more. I'm going to open those center holes up just a little bit. Get it to be more floating in instead of a super compression fit. The glue will hold it just fine, so it doesn't really need the compression. And that's just the middle board. The front and back ones I'm perfectly fine to have them be a little bit long. But the middle board I'm opening up extra wide. They were very tight, so I ended up opening them just a little bit, but the middle ones open significantly wider. And you won't have to fight any of them because they're thin boards with not a whole lot of support until the glue dries. So the idea of pounding my way through or getting that dowel stuck halfway through did not sound appealing. And now I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything fits right. I should be able to basically push the dowels through without a whole lot of trouble. And now just give them a light tap, make sure they go on through. And now we'll pull them apart and do a little assembly. Little acid brush, disposable brushes are the greatest thing ever, so squeeze some glue in. Use the little disposable acid brush to work the glue around, make sure it coats all the sides we can. We want to get as good a coverage as it can get, considering it's the only fastener. Clean up what we can. Anything that squeezes out immediately, just go ahead and grab because it's useless. It's not hurting anything. We're going to end up clamping it down just a little bit. And there shouldn't be a ton of squeeze out, but just, like I said, anything that's enough that it squeezes out just from dropping the things in, go ahead and grab that right away before it becomes a problem. And now I'm working the dowels in. These are still dry at the moment, the dowels. They're just slid through the holes. I'm trying to get everything kind of lined up where I need it to go. And the dowels will help hold the sides in place while getting clamped. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to drop a little bit of glue around the dowels, right next to the holes. We don't want to slide the dowels through the holes all filled with glue, or it'll just drag glue all the way across from the first hole to the third hole. Instead, we're going to put a little bit next to each hole. We're leaving the dowels proud just to one side, all to one side, and then we're going to end up shoving them through, pushing that glue right into the holes rather than having a bunch of glue that's just all over the place. This allows us to kind of locate it where we need it and push it right into place. Same thing for the other dowels, just gluing them, twist them around a little bit, make sure it's all covered, and just slide them into place. They'll slide in pretty well. Okay, a little tappy tap of the hammer, get that last one pushed in. It was a little bit tight on me. now we're gonna square everything up. I love this little mini square. I just purchased it recently and I love it. I really prefer a big 2-foot square that I've got that gives you great accuracy over a long distance. This thing is perfect for getting down inside things, like getting inside of drawers or little boxes or things like that you really don't have enough room for a full-size square. This thing's perfect. It's just nice and solid, no flex at all. I've been very happy with it, and it's cheap, which that's the best part. So it's definitely a worthwhile addition to any collection, because it's, like I said, it's definitely got its purpose. And it's bright red, so it's easier to find on your table. Then for the overall outside, I just want to do my measurements to make sure that these are about where I think they are. Double checking for consistent size so I can find out if everything stayed consistent throughout. And now I'm going to put these little blocks in here. They'll kind of keep stretched open to the size I'm looking for. They're just cut to the size I want the openings to be, so after I'm sure they're square, just put it in here so there's no flex while the glue's drying. Nice little easy way to make this stay consistent. From there, we'll go ahead and take everything apart. All the clamps, all the glue's dried. So I'll pull it apart. And we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. Well, the glue is dried, we're ready to go. Now comes more of the finishing touch. So I'm going to start by cutting off our extra pegs there. Just the outsides, use a little Japanese flush cut pull saw. Takes care of those in a heartbeat. And remember to leave yourself just a little, just a 32nd or 16th or whatever on the outside for making sure the saw doesn't dig in. They'll sand off nicely. And now we're to sanding. Sanding, finishing, scraping, all that good stuff. Cleaned off. Recently purchased a nice little stamp to help stamp all the stuff I'm making with these videos and kind of give myself a little friendly reminder. And now a couple coats of gloss lacquer. For stuff like this, I tend to put it on fairly thick. It dries so easily and so quickly. I'll put it on a little bit extra thick, let it kind of do a little self-leveling as it soaks in. I went 2 coats total with this. Nothing overdone, but just gives it a real nice protection for something that's going to live on the table. And here we go. Thanks for watching. It's a nice little project. Works out real well. It's all the stuff that we normally will kind of keep around in a meal, and perfect. So if you like this video, don't forget, like, subscribe, reshare. Those are big. Comment on the video. Tell us if you like it, if there's something that you think you would do different for yours. We'd love to hear from you. So until then, like I said, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. So you'll see all future videos. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.